isang magandang umaga sa ating mga kapwa guro at kakulab. So, ang ganda ng springboard natin, ano po, kasi it shows how creative our students are in terms of using the language, di ba? Very Gen Z, no? For real, legit, di ba? Ang dami pa, meron pang sa kanilang gumagamit ng AFIK, AFAIK, as far as I know. And all these terms, 'di ba? Hindi lang sila sa chat, sa group chat ng mga bata nag-o-occur even with the conversations they have in our classrooms. Kaya nga kanina po meron ako nakitang comment. Sabi niya, sometimes na-o-offend daw po siya kapag gumagamit ng slang terms or unfamiliar words yung mga bata sa kanyang klase. But now, yun, merong but, no, si teacher sabi niya, pero ngayon daw, tinatanggap niya na at mas gusto niya pang matuto, no? Mas gusto niya pang matuto kung paano, saan, at ano yung gamit nitong mga salitang ito. And that's exactly why we are having a conversation on how translanguaging can improve comprehension. Sino po sa inyo ang bago pa lang sa kanyang pandinig or ngayon lang na-encounter yung word na translanguaging? Ayan. Alam ko po, meron na pong mga naka-encounter nito prior to our this time collab, no? This series. Pero, sino po dito yung bago na ngayon lang ito narinig? So, ayan. Ayan, me po, merong mga nagre-reply. So now, I want to call this a conversation no, rather than a discussion kasi alam ko na hindi ito magiging one-sided lang. I want to hear your insights, I want to hear your sharing, di ba? Kung ano yung nangyayari talaga in the field in our classrooms. So, let us now continue. Ayan, just like a story, no? Kasi sabi natin, tayo ay sa reading literacy. So just like in a story, dinivide ko yung parts ng ating conversation sa isang story, no? We have the flashback, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and conclusion. Sa flashback nga, magdidig into the past na tayo. Exposition, making differences work. Rising action, making sense of the process. Climax, taking advantage of its use. Falling action, setting boundaries, and the conclusion, asking what now. Parang title ng mga movies, no? Or book chapters. So, without further ado, no, let's begin with the flashback. Digging into the past. Ayan. So, kung balikan natin ang nakaraan, but more like of recalling your experiences as a teacher. How you react, you respond to certain things. Ayan, ang dami nating comments at sobrang active ng ating mga kakulab at kapwa guro, no, ka-teachers. Kaya naman, I want to hear your answer to this. How do you respond to your learners who use their mother tongue or L1 in English class? Yung kanilang home language, yung kanilang native language. Ano yung reaction natin as teachers kapag naririnig natin yung mga estudyante natin na ginagamit yung kanilang pamilyar na lengguwahe, na yung pamilyar sa kanila. So, I believe hindi lang po tayo dito full of English teachers. We have science teachers, math teachers, specialized subject teachers, core subject teachers, applied subject teachers. Madami po tayo, no? But supposed that you have a medium of instruction and that medium of instruction is English, no? How would you feel, no? Kapag may ibang gamit na language yung ating estudyante during our class. Are we strict about it? Or do we allow it? So ayan, may mga nakakita ko. Sir Alex, acceptable po since it was their first language. Ang mahalaga is to enhance their knowledge. Wow! Saktong-sakto yung sagot ni Sir Alex sa pag-uusapan natin. Ma'am Easy or Sir Easy, mas gusto ko po na ginagamit ang kanilang mother tongue. Tinatanggap ko po ito. Wow! There's acceptance, no, dito sa mga nababasa natin. I accept their answers, making them feel safe as they express themselves comfortably in their mother tongue. Ayan, marami pong salamat teachers at ang dami pa. And most of the answers that I am seeing is that they accept, no? They accept the use of their students' mother tongue inside the classroom. It's all right. I let them speak. Yun ang nababasa ko sa ating mga comments. Now, this is actually understandable kung merong iilan or mga teachers na strict sa pag-implement ng English na paggamit, most especially in English classrooms. Why? Because we have different learning situations. Ang mother tongue naman ay hindi lang Tagalog, hindi lang din English. Mother tongue could also be Cebuano, Waray. Meron nga tayo from Tawi-Tawi. Of course, they have different mother tongue, no? So, even before, no, if we trace back into our history and our culture, we have a monolingual culture. So may pag-iisip tayo na first language should not be used in the second language development. So yung paghahalo daw natin ng first language, second language, third language man yan is a careless language habit and the lack of English language competence. So yun yung na-build sa atin. No? Kaya if you look into our language education policies, nagkaroon tayo ng bilingual education, nagkaroon din tayo ng English-only policy, then we move to the MTBMLE or the Mother Tongue-Based Multilingual Education to accommodate languages, no? So, pero, again, this dates back, no? Yung ating monolingual culture ay nagmumula sa ating kultura, sa ating history. That's why we put premium, no? In the English language over our local languages. That is why today, di ba, we will have a conversation on how do we maximize, no? How do we maximize the use of our learners' languages in our classroom? And how do we provide a positive space for learning? Paano tayo makakapagbigay sa ating mga estudyante that they feel welcome, they feel accepted, that their difference, no? Yung difference nila is not a mistake, no? It's not something threatening, no? It's something that we welcome inside the class. And there can be no way of educating children inclusively without recognizing their diverse language and meaning-making practices as a resource to learn. No? Mula Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, we have here teachers who are watching, no? Na napakarami nating language. In fact, there are over 180 languages in the Philippines according to the recent ethnologue. Ang dami, no? Ang dami nating language. So, and I only know few, no? Unti lang ang alam ko. But knowing this, na ganito karami yung language natin, how do we accommodate these languages in teaching and learning process, no? Of course, pwede nating sabihin na, ma'am, impossible to use that all at the same time, of course. But even when, kahit Tagalog ang ating mother tongue, kahit Cebuano or kahit Ilonggo, there are always different ways on how students express themselves, on how they write, how they speak, di ba? So, how do we make differences work? Di ba? Paano natin how do we go about these differences and make it an advantage for our learners in our teaching process? Ayan. Teachers, I want to ask you, A and B. Alam ko kanina, meron ng multiple choices, no? Pero ito, what kind of teacher are you? Or alin yung pinaniniwalaan nyo dito? Languages are separate entities? Or language is a single integrated system? Ayan, I want to hear your thoughts. Kayo ba ay naniniwala na ang language ay separate entities or integrated system? Ayan, B. Madami akong nakikita na B. Ayan. So, maraming salamat. No? May mga nagko-comment ng A, B, yan. Thank you so much. But according to translanguaging, our learners have one linguistic repertoire from which they select features strategically to communicate effectively. Ayan, sabi dito sa translanguaging, meron lang daw isang integrated system ang ating mga learners from which they choose languages from, no? But actually, we have a lot of theories, concepts, hypotheses regarding this. But in the point of view of translanguaging ay mayroong isa lamang na integrated language system or linguistic repertoire ang ating mga bata. So, ayan. Now, translanguaging is expressing one's thoughts while skillfully using multiple languages in navigating communication in classrooms. Now, what I want to ask to you teachers, how do you use multiple languages or the mother tongue in class? Can you give a certain situation in classroom where you really have to use the mother tongue? Baka pwede po tayong magbigay ng isang sitwasyon na kinailangan talaga natin, most especially to our English teachers na nanonood ngayon. Meron bang isang pagkakataon na kinailangan nating gamitin ang mother tongue ng mga bata? And what is that certain situation? Ayan, during discussion, so that they can express their ideas, sabi po ni Sir Janvier. Ayan. Yes, no? We allow them. Sir Alex, kapag po hindi na nila maintindihan yung deep English words and phrases, tama, Sir Alex. Ay, ito, i-recall ko, no? We have really complex lessons in class, no? At yes, of course, we also use that when giving context. Marami tayong complex lessons in class. And ibinababa natin ito sa ating mga mag-aaral, sa ating students, in the simplest and easiest way possible. And tama po, in giving context, in making deep English words or yung mga high-sounding English words possible for our students to understand, no? We can use translanguaging or their mother tongue, their home language. Sabi dito, if the English words are difficult to understand, meron pang when they ask questions and the students cannot answer, they let them answer in the mother tongue. Ayan. So translanguaging is the process of using two or more languages. So hindi lang po dalawa, no? Or more, 'di ba? Pwedeng more kasi even in my case in Cavite, marami pong mga estudyante ang hindi naman nila L1 or hindi naman nila first language ang Tagalog. Merong mga nagmula diyan sa for example, Bacolod, no? Merong mga nagmula sa Cebu. So they have different first language. Bago second language pa nila yung Tagalog, bago third pa nila yung English. So translanguaging is the use of two or more languages to make meaning, shape their experience, and obtain understanding and knowledge through the use of two or more languages. Ayan. So, to put it in simpler terms, translanguaging is the use of learners' linguistic repertoire or the alternation of languages. Miss Karen, since you mentioned na alternation ito ng languages, how is it different from code switching? Sino po dito sa inyo yung nakarinig na ng code switching? And can you tell me what is your knowledge about code switching po? Ayan. Yan. Nakarinig na ng code switching. I'm seeing a lot of comments, no? Have you heard of the term code switching? And paano? Ayan. Si Ma'am Alfie or Sir Alfie, code switching, this involves switching between languages or language variety in a single conversation or interaction. So for example, bilingual teacher may use both English and Spanish when teaching a lesson, or student may switch between their native language and English when talking to their peers, no? What we are doing right now, no? Nag-alternate tayo ng language. But how is it different from translanguaging? Ma'am, bakit kailangan pa ng term na translanguaging? Meron naman pala. Meron na po palang code switching tayo eh. How is it different from code switching? Ayan. Code switching is dividing the user's linguistic resources into separate language or linguistic entities. So, Let's put it like this. Sa code switching, meron kang box A for language 1, box B, box C. So you separate them, no? There's language separation. But in translanguaging, you only have one box. And where you put those languages inside those box as a single linguistic repertoire, and which the students can use flexibly, no? So yun yung gagamitan ng mga estudyante ngayon. Not from box A, box B, box C, but from a certain single box, no? Kung nasaan nandun yung kanilang language. That's translanguaging, that they can use flexibly. Because in code switching, we are after the form. No, iniisip natin na ako I'm using English ngayon. Tapos mamaya magtatagalog na ako ngayon. Ayan. So you're after the form, but in translanguaging, you're after the function. Why are you using it? In code switching, you're after what languages are you using? What language are you using? Pero sa function, why are you using those languages? Diba? Ano yung function niya? To fulfill a communicative need, diba? Sa code switching, it's about structure, no? Structure. In your grammar, you use Tagalog, English, and then another language. But in translanguaging, you're after the meaning. Yeah. So I hope no we're able to draw the line somehow about code switching and translanguaging. But I can give you further references later on, no? So you can read more regarding code switching and translanguaging. Ayan, meron dito akong nakikita na comments that code switching is just plain translation, no? And in translanguaging, of course, you don't just translate. You translate because you want to serve a certain function, di ba? It serves a certain function to our learners. That is why translanguaging requires deeper understanding, processing, and relaying of meaning. It therefore focuses on function rather than form, meaning rather than structure. Just like when asking question, ang code switching just asks what, no? What languages do you use? But translanguaging, why do you use those languages, no? You're after the meaning rather than the structure. Ayan. So, meron ditong nag-comment, can you give us further specific example, ma'am? Yes, we're going there, no? Sa story natin na to, binibuild up natin yan, and we're exactly going there because we are now in the rising action. We are making sense of the process. Ma'am, now that we know, or Miss Karen, now that we know about translanguaging, its meaning, its definition, of course, it doesn't stop there. How do we make sense of it in our classrooms? Diba? In science, in mathematics, in Filipino, in English classes, all our classrooms. How do we make use of it? Of translanguaging? Let's now make sense. But before that, I want to hear your thoughts. Ayan, share your reactions. Naka live din ako sa phone. Nakikita ko po ang inyong mga reactions. So I want to see if you like, heart, if it seems funny to you, or wow, or naiiyak na kayo, or angry dito sa mga itatanong ko po sa inyo, mga statements na ibibigay natin. And I also want you to share your thoughts on this. Paano ito nangyayari sa loob ng classrooms? The learning poverty. The World Bank estimated that as of June 2022, learning poverty in the Philippines is 90.9%. Learning poverty is defined as the percentage of a 10-year-old who cannot read or understand a certain or a simple story. So what is your reaction to this? I want to hear your reaction, ka-collabs and my co-teachers. Ano ang ating reaction that the learning poverty in the Philippines as of June 2022, according to the World Bank, is 90.9%, no? It's defined as the percentage of a 10-year-old children who cannot read or understand a simple story. Can you tell me, teachers, I really want to hear a story. Can you tell me, teachers, nung pagbalik natin mula sa pandemya, no, nung tayo ay nag-face-to-face class, ano yung mga na-encounter natin na reading scenario or reading conditions ng mga bata? Yan. I'll give you time, no, to recall. And that's true. Minsan, comprehension is the problem. Sabi ni Sir Merlowy Adrian. So, sa atin pong classroom, nung pagbalik natin, no, we are from the pandemic and pagbalik natin sa ating mga classrooms face-to-face, they really had a hard time reading, especially my grade 7 students. Sabi ni Ma'am Aprilin Oloteo. So, see, it's really happening. Nakakalungkot po kasi grade 6 hawak ko pero may non-reader pa po. Thank you, Ma'am Emily. Ayan, others. Diba? So, we have this learning poverty. And nakikita ko, no, nag-express ng sad face ang ating mga teachers, may crying emojis. Half of my grade 2 students cannot read. So, that's really a problem, no? A challenge. So, after it is a problem, it now becomes a challenge for us teachers, no? Paano natin susolusyonan ito? Kasi tayo ang nasa classroom. Meron pa ditong comments, it's legit, there's really a learning gap. So, ginamit niya na yung legit, no? Dun sa first activity natin, legit, may learning gaps talaga tayong na-experience. So, very true. Now, I want to give you a possible option, no? We read in a familiar language. The evidence is clear. Children are better able to acquire basic reading skills when they are taught to read in a familiar language. Hmm? And that is what translanguaging is offering. No, yun yung ino-offer sa atin ng translanguaging. That how can students or how will we make reading familiar to our students, that they're not actually anxious, they're not hesitant, diba, to read. Kasi yun yung common that you feel like your students are being anxious, you feel like your students are being hesitant to read, diba? So true. Ayan, marami ako nakikita. So true. Reading comprehension nakakasad in today's generation because reading, diba, you can read the text, but comprehension is another problem. But meron akong nakitang comment, no, I feel like there's hope. Kaya nga po tayo nandito ngayon, no? Nakakatuwa na ang dami nating nandito ngayon, ang daming nagko-comment, ang daming active, no? Kaya po tayo nandito, nagsha-share tayo ng insights because together, no, we can probably make a solution to this. And that is why we can use translanguaging as a pedagogical resource. Ayan. Pwede nating gamitin ang translanguaging bilang resource natin, no? Bilang tool, di ba? Pedagogical tool for learning of our students. So, paano yon? Ito na yung kaninang sagot doon sa nakita kong question na, Ma'am, can you give specific example po? Ayan. As a teacher resource, you allow the use of students' home language to help the students' needs in their communicative process. No? Ayan, maraming nagsasabi dito, we have many struggling readers. Diba? We have many struggling readers. So, as a teacher, how do you make their language a resource? Diba? And here are the following examples. So, you can explain new and difficult concepts to them in their home language, give instructions when it is too difficult, right? When the instructions is too difficult for them, you can actually explain it afterwards also in the language that they are familiar with. Enable participation ito, di ba? Enable participation by lower proficient students. And that is right, no? Sa ating classrooms, so we are all teachers here, no? Nagtuturo or part of the education. We have different kinds of learners inside the class. Balikan ko yung sinabi ko, no? The way they read, the way they write, the way they speak, the way they listen is different, are different, di ba? Iba-iba kung paano sila magsalita, magbasa, makinig. So, lalo na, meron ding iba-ibang levels, no? Merong can easily understand the topic without further explanation. Merong average learners tayo, and of course, merong mga struggling learners, no? So, how do we make use of our language to reach them, no? Para abutin sila, para magkaroon ng connect sa kanila yung itinuturo natin. Right? So, you can read through providing clarifications or scaffolding and to acknowledge that they are diverse learners. Diba? Magkakaiba yan. Magkakaiba sila. So we provide them with options to learn using their language, using the languages available to them. Can also be a student resource, no? Permitting students to use their native language enables connections, ayan, between home and school. They're, bakit kailangan nating ma-establish yung connection between their home and school? Because that's one thing we realized during the pandemic, no? Na napakahalaga ng role na ginagampanan ng tahanan, ng pamilya sa pagkatuto ng mga bata. So we want to establish really the fact that the home is an important or plays a key role in the in child's learning, no? So, iko-connect natin ngayon yung kanilang mga natutunan, yung language na ginagamit niya sa bahay na pwedeng maging pedagogical tool for him or her, for them to learn better, no? Promote deeper understanding of the content. Ayan, madami ako nakikita. Ito, merong tanong dito na if that's the case, how do we strengthen the use of English language if we promote the use of their mother tongue? And later, we'll answer that, no? Mamaya, sa parte, habang tayo tumatagal sa ating conversation or kwentuhan, we'll figure out, no? Paano? Paano nga ba? Yan. As a student resource, it can be used to express themselves, no? Ask their teachers, respond to teachers' questions, and also provide assistance to their friends. Do you ever wonder, ayan, meron tayong, for example, collaborative activities. When you go around, the language that they use is not the target language. The language that they use is the language that they are confident to use. The language that is comfortable to them, no? Yung komportable lang silang gamitin. Yun yung, pag nag-go around ka, they explain their ideas to their classmates na in a language that they're comfortable with. Ito yung gawin natin. Dapat ganito. Parang hindi dapat ito kasama dito. You see? That's the role of translanguaging during collaborative activities or when providing assistance to their friends, to their classmates during peer activities. Also, they share their knowledge and experiences during discussion through translanguaging. Ayan. Have you ever wondered also, no? Ang dami ko namang tanong, no? Ang daming tanong. Kapag tayo ay nagtuturo and then we ask a question in the target language or in English, no? This is not applicable in all cases, of course, kasi merong mga classrooms na ang kanilang first language ay English, no? But in my case, since I am from Cavite, no, you ask question in English. You see na merong mga estudyanteng nagtataas ng kamay, but not everyone, no? Not everyone raises their hand. Does it mean na hindi nila alam yung sagot? Dahil ba hindi sila nagtaas ng kamay, does it mean na hindi nila alam ang sagot? Or they have the answer to it, but not the words to express it? No? We can actually think about that, no? Ponder about it. Na they have the answer to it, but not the words to express it in the target language, in the language we expect them to use. Ayan. Ayan, no? Hindi lang nila ma-express. Maaaring nahihiya. Ayan, alam nila yan. Pero hesitant lang sila gamitin ang language. Kung saan ko po nakukuha ang mga sagot na ito, nagbabasa po ako sa comments. Ayan. So, thank you so much to our dear teachers, no? Na let's go away with the fact that we equate fluency in the English language to intelligence, no? We directly relate that when someone is fluent in English, it is equivalent to their intelligence. It could be, no? Because we have multiple intelligences and one of them is the linguistic intelligence. However, we cannot disregard the fact that ideas are not only expressed in the target language, in the English language. Ideas of our students are not just in the English language. Ayan, meron silang sagot. Ayan, marami pa po akong nakikitang comments na meron silang sagot, only that they are hesitant to use the English language. And babalik tayo dun sa tanong kanina. Ma'am, if we keep on using the mother tongue, how will we be able to strengthen the use of English language? And ayan, before we go to that, no, let's have a brain break. Brain break ba talagang tawagin ito kung mag-iisip pa rin talaga tayo, no? But let's have a brain break. Type in a Filipino word that has no direct translation in English. Ayan, type in the Filipino word. Pasalubong. Wow. Pasalubong. Meron kilig. Pasalubong. Ayan. Merong nagsabing kilig. Tampo. Ayan. Kilig, pasalubong, tampo. I want to hear more, teachers. Pangingilo. Parang ayoko yung maranasan, teachers. Pangingilo, pasma. Yes, teachers. Keep it coming. Kilite. Okay? Gigil. Ayan, gigil. Utang na loob. Okay. Keep it coming, teachers. Damit pambahay. Okay? Namamanas. Okay. Ang dami, di ba, teachers? Now, my question is, if there are a lot of Filipino words that have no direct translation to English, how do we expect our learners to understand it or to understand its context if it's written in English? Or vice versa. If there are English words that have no direct translation in Filipino, how do we expect them to understand it? Diba? That easy. So we use translanguaging to make context, to provide context. Natatawa ko, teachers, kasi may nakita po akong comment. Yung tanong na pang ilan ka sa magkakapatid, paano daw yun i-Englishin, di ba? So, meron nagsabi, are you the first honor, the second honor? Di ba? That's the joke about it, di ba? Are you the first honor, the second honor, the third honor? Di ba? So, you see, there are certain phrases, there are certain words in both English and Filipino that you cannot directly translate. So, meaning to say, you provide them with context, no? And that is our climax. We take advantage of the use of translanguaging to provide them the context, the resource, the tool that they need. Ayan, totoo po yan. Kahit po sa akin, struggle po yan. Diba? So, meaning to say, after we know its uses, we now know, we define translanguaging, diba? We now know its uses, no? Its uses in giving feedback or pwedeng in answering in or responding to questions in classrooms to help low proficiency students. So yeah, now we take advantage of its use. And I divided this to three, no? Meron tayong ways to improve comprehension through translanguaging in three domains, no? Una ay ang knowledge construction. We can use translanguaging in knowledge construction. First is to recast and correct previous information. So, every now and then, kapag nag-start tayo ng klase, may recall tayo, no? May review tayong tinatawag of what is the lesson or what was the lesson last week or last meeting, no? Yung last meeting natin, ano yung naging lesson? We review them. So, some students might find it difficult, no? Lalo na kung complex yung lesson natin. And now, the role of translanguaging is to recast and correct that previous information for your students, di ba? To better understand or construct their knowledge. And strengthen their weaker language. Ito yung sinasabi kanina ni ma'am na, ma'am, paano yun? Paano kung promote tayo ng translanguaging ng mother tongue, no, natin, but it weakens the weaker language, which is the target language. But here, we actually suggest that it should be used to strengthen the weaker language. In what way? No? In what way? How can a student use a word without knowing its meaning? Diba? Paano gagamitin ng isang estudyante o isang mag-aaral ang isang salita na hindi niya alam ang kahulugan? So through translanguaging, we introduce them a certain word. Di ba pag tayo nag-storytelling, we have the vocabulary. When we ask them to do a reading, no? We have vocabulary. And sometimes, hindi enough yung meaning na nakalagay doon sa vocabulary. So, dinadagdagan pa natin ng explanation to strengthen that word, no? That certain word ay may meaning. So you actually, on that way, or in that way, you actually strengthen the weaker language of our learners. And of course, it promotes comprehension and understanding. And I highlighted it. Why? Because translanguaging is often used in analyzing vocabulary, explaining grammar, emphasizing important points, giving feedback and directions, and facilitating responses, which helps their comprehension to be more successful. Now, let's dig deeper no, dito sa promoting comprehension. Would you rather give a feedback to your students in English or in their mother tongue? Ayan. Actually, there's no right or wrong answers to this. This is based actually on your experience. Based on your experience, ang gamit niyo po ba kapag nagbibigay kayo ng feedback sa ating mga estudyante ay yung mother tongue or English? I want to hear your thoughts, teachers. And also, itong mga basic functions natin, giving instructions, yan. In facilitating, both. Yan, maganda yung both. May mother tongue. In unlocking difficulties daw, pwedeng mother tongue. Yan. For feedback, minsan yung tinatawag na Taglish, no? So, balikan natin, translanguaging, subconsciously or unconsciously, ginagamit na natin siya. Just what I am doing right now, no? To fulfill a communicative need, which is to have a conversation with you and to make it more engaging for the both of us, no? We use the language that we think we can both understand. Diba? So that's translanguaging. Whatever language, as long as they understand. Depende sa situation. Yes, i-highlight din natin to, no, teachers, that it really depends on the situation that we are in. We have a lot of learning or various learning conditions. And there is no one size fits all strategy to all of it, no? I cannot say that you use Tagalog. I cannot say that you use English. I cannot say that you use Cebuano. I cannot say that you use this certain strategy because there's no one size fits all, no? It's only that tayo as teachers, we know what's best for our students. If mothers knows best for their children, teachers know best for their students, 'di ba? Alam nila 'yan, alam natin 'yan. Ayan, I also give feedback in Filipino. Ayan, mahirap pagalitan ng bata pag English. Natawa naman po ako dito sa mahirap pagalitan ng bata pag English. What we are doing in English class for learners to understand the English LC is translanguaging. So thank you, Ma'am Evelyn. Pero ayun, again, natawa ako dun sa nakita na ang hirap daw pagalitan ng bata kapag English. And I can relate because with the conversation that I have with other teachers as well, no? Yan din. They actually use Jen's languaging in giving their feedback. Ayan. Yan. Marami pa tayong questions and answers here, no? Merong question na, is it okay if we allow the use of translanguaging in the written feedback? So, mamaya, we'll talk about it, no? Ayan, here. Translanguaging, tapos na tayo sa knowledge construction. So, to be able to construct their knowledge, so we can use translanguaging. And here, in meaning making. Pangalawa, in meaning making. Di ba sabi natin, we take advantage of their languages para makapag-provide tayo ng relevance, para makapag-provide tayo ng context. When we tell a story, when we introduce a story to our students, to our learners, how do we do that? Sige nga po. Paano natin ginagawa to? Pag tayo merong kwento, di ba, reading, no? About reading. We have a certain story that we want our students to read. So, paano natin ini-introduce po? Ayan. Maraming tanong, oh. Is it okay to use translanguaging if you're being observed during class observation, especially if you are teaching science? So, um, balik tayo dun sa answer ko kanina, there's no one size fits all, no? We have different ways on how we can incorporate translanguaging into our teaching. Encouraging translanguaging in the classroom can provide a comfortable space for our learners. So yeah, ito. From Sir Je, start with students' experience. Yun yung sabi niya, no? Start with students' experience. Ayan. It's flashed now on the screen from Sir Je Rizada. We start with students' experience. Diba? How can you tell a story of a carpenter? Diba? Diba? For example, the story is about a carpenter. So, we might want to ask them, do you know what a carpenter does? No? Or alam niyo ba anong ginagawa ng mga karpentero? What tools do they use? Ayan, schema activation, which we will talk about later on. No? So, we provide them with context. Pansin natin, our students are easily engaged when it is relatable. Di ba? Yan ang term din ng mga Gen Z. That's so relatable talaga, teacher. That's very relatable sa aming pinagdadaanan. When it's something relevant to them, when it's something relatable for them, they actually are engaged in listening, in reading, in speaking. But when they do not know what's its significance to them, hindi ganoon yung interest na ipinapakita nila doon sa itinuturo natin. So that means, kahit naman tayo we always choose someone or something that is significant to us. Diba? Palaging pinipili natin yung importante sa atin. Yung mayroon tayong alam tungkol doon sa bagay na yon o mayroon tayong pake doon sa bagay na iyon. And when you introduce a certain story to them, and they know that it's relatable for them, they actually want to hear it, diba? And it also reinforces the HOTS or the higher order thinking skills, and it promotes deeper understanding. So translanguaging is being used to explain and contextualize our lessons to their experiences. When you say vacation in Switzerland. So, maganda sana kung lahat talaga ay nakakapunta ng Switzerland, no? But aminin natin, hindi naman lahat ay nakakapunta sa lugar ng Switzerland. So, you have to provide them with a context that they might know about it or maybe other places, no? Na maaring na-experience nila, napuntahan nila, relatable for them. So, yeah. So, in reinforcing the higher order thinking skills, students can use their available languages to assist their critical learning, no? So, kanina sabi natin, ang code switching, nagtatapos siya sa what? What languages do you use? But in translanguaging, why and how? Ganun din sa pagpo-provide natin ng question sa mga bata. When you ask them what, when, where, they can easily answer that, of course. Where is the setting of the story? What is the theme of the story? But when you ask them with why and how questions, dito na pumapasok yung kanilang higher order thinking skills or creative and critical thinking, right? We ask our students to visualize what we are saying to them, to have a mental image of what we are talking about. So, make them understand in a language that they know. Diba? So, for example, when you give questions in English, you try to relate it as much as possible to your learners so they can better answer the why and how questions. So we can use tense languaging, most especially when during my data gathering for my study, I actually asked several teachers on what do they think on the use of translanguaging when asking higher order thinking skills, and they approve or they agree to this because it actually facilitates um, processing of that question to our students. Yung sa isip nila, nakakapag-isip sila ng sagot because you're trying to explain it to them in the language that they can understand. Yan. And also, it can also be used in problem solving. So, maximize the home and school link. Yan. Also, you integrate the lessons. And ito yung kanina na nakita natin, no? Activating schema. And extend cognitive support through translation. Home languages can be a significant resource in increasing proficiency of learners. What I want to highlight in here is that we use translanguaging as a support for our struggling learners, our struggling readers, and even in for all our learners in class. And one technique or strategy in problem solving would be activating their schema through translanguaging. Ito po yung tinatawag natin na background knowledge, right? So, earlier I gave an example about a carpenter, di ba? We ask them if they have any background knowledge regarding a carpenter so that they'll know how to picture it in their mind. Nagkakaroon sila ng visualization na ito ang ginagawa ng isang karpentero. Ito ang ginagawa ng isang doktor. Ito ang ginagawa ng isang chef. 'Di ba? So, they have, yeah, that's what you call it, schema activation for our students. Ask them in their L1 students can better comprehend complex texts when they can access their background knowledge in a familiar language. Because as teachers, we set the tone, we set the mood for our learners and readers, no? So ibig sabihin, make it easy for them to understand a complex text, no? We have to build, 'di ba? To build that background knowledge or activate their background knowledge for them to be able to understand better. Ayan. So, marami pa rin po akong nakikitang comments. No, activating schema helps a lot in decoding new ideas. That's correct. Lalo na po kapag nasa complex lessons na tayo or ang kailangang i-decode na material ng mga bata, ang kailangan nilang basahin ay medyo mahirap na na text, we can use it to our advantage, itong translanguaging, no? Yan, ay mga students daw po na ganun yung learning styles nila and students are able to provide insights using their own words. Ang ganda po nito, no? That our students have their insights. It's just that they have different way of accessing and also expressing that insight or their insights. Ayan na, patapos na ang ating kwento, no? We are now in the falling action or setting boundaries. Ito po yung sinasabi kanina na, ma'am, paano naman po kung gusto talaga natin na i-improve ang proficiency, fluency in the English? Ayan, you have to set boundaries. So, laging merong advantage and disadvantage ang mga strategies, right? Because again, it is not a one size fits all strategy. And in here, one limitation would be dependence on L1 or the mother tongue may not offer any significant advantage. So this is according to the study of Lister, no? Na maaaring makahinder yung exposure ng L1 sa pagkatuto ng L2 or ng target language. So these are some of the limitations. And also, main language in classroom should be in English and L1 should be minimally used as this might meet temporary outcomes. This is according to some scholars also, no? Na maaaring mag-interfere sa English language learning ng mga bata. And what does this tell us? Translanguaging pedagogy cannot be dictated but must be continually reimagined. Ang ganda ng salitang to, no? Reimagined within the local ecology in which it functions. So meaning to say, teachers really know best, no? Tayo yung magdidictate kung paano, saan, kailan, bakit natin gagamitin yung kanilang mother tongue, no? And that is because it functions in our local ecology, no? It serves its function in our classroom teaching and learning. As we have said, translanguaging depends on the spontaneous, impromptu, momentary actions and performances of multilinguals as they engage with the world, people, and texts. So ang ganda, no? Ang ganda na habang nagbabasa yung mga estudyante natin, they're able to picture, they are able to visualize because we explained it to them, no? In a language that they are familiar with. They are familiar to, no? So, um, yan. We are now in the resolution part. Patapos na ang ating kwento because we have to ask ourselves, what now? So ano na ngayon yung role ko, no? As a literacy champion. As literacy champions, ano po yung maaari pa nating gawin? Yan. First is to accept that this is our ecological reality. So considering the current ecological reality of multilingual societies, it is already a norm to find multiple languages being used in the classroom settings. At natutuwa po akong makita, no, na karamihan po sa mga guro, kapwa ko kakulab at kapwa ko guro na nanonood ngayon at nagpa-participate ngayong umagang ito, they are very accepting on the multiple languages that are being used inside the class. Meron akong nakitang yes. So, ibig sabihin ng yes ay yes, no? Sabi, yes, okay. And even in the classroom settings, the tides have shifted in favor of integrating speakers' pre-existing linguistic resources. Do not look at it as a threat, teachers. Hindi threat ang paggamit ng mother tongue, ng native language para sa ating mga bata, no? Hindi yan threat. It should be something that they should make use of to their advantage para mas matuto. Diba po? At tayo naman bilang mga guro ay para tulungan at suportahan ang kanilang pagkatuto. And that's the process termed as translanguaging. I just want to share this quickly with you of why I started studying regarding translanguaging. Because even before, kahit nung bata pa po ako, wow, bata pa, otherization naman ang ginagawa namin, no? Otherization. So, I have always wondered why English teachers are not teaching, they're not teaching naman in strictly English only policy. They're trying to make us understand in our mother tongue. So bakit why is there a notion that subjects should be taught in English, right? So kaya po sabi ko, baka meron pang ibang paraan kung paano natin ituturo ang mga subjects, 'di ba? Or English language sa mga bata na hindi nila titingnan yung kanilang mother tongue or yung kanilang native language as a threat to their learning, no? Instead, they will actually regard their mother tongue as a tool, as a resource that can help them in learning the target language, no? Para kasi iwas na iwas ka, oh, nagtagalog ka ha, oh, nagganito ka ha, oh, ginamit mo yung mother tongue mo ha, dapat English lang, di ba? Iwas na iwas, but this is the reality. We have existing multiple languages. And because of that, we need to transform, di ba? Ang phones nga natin nagtatransform the way our students speak, the way our students write, yung mga Gen Z vocabularies and terms, they transform. The same way that we teachers should transform, no? We use translanguaging as a transformative way in a way that it empowers learners to exhibit their critical and creative use of their language resource. Let's not limit out their creativity, diba? Let's not limit their learning. So, let them process their knowledge construction, their meaning making, and problem solving in English classrooms through translanguaging. And lastly, take up space. Let them take up their space. Let them speak in the language that they know, most especially when they are providing you with their insights, no? Yung nagkukwento sila sa'yo, sa atin, ng kanilang mga natututunan. Provide multilingual learners a space where they're allowed to share and bring together different dimensions of their personal history, experiences, environment, and how beautiful is that to hear our students, teacher, kahapon nagpunta kami sa ganito. Would you rather stop them sharing stories to you just because they don't use the language you expect them to use? Diba? Let them share the ideologies, their beliefs, diba? And turn it and transform it in language learning and language use into a lived experience. Diba po? So let our students take up space and provide them that safe space for learning. So, this is the question that I want to leave you with. Maraming salamat po. So as literacy champions, how will you integrate translanguaging in your teaching to improve reading comprehension of our learners? So I am in awe of how creative our students are, no? And yes, there are gaps, there are challenges. But the challenge for us literacy champions is, how do we connect the disconnect? So marami pong salamat. Here are my references and thank you for listening. Ayan, marami pong salamat.